On our last day in Mexico City, we caught the Day of the Dead parade, which is actually quite a new tradition inspired by the opening scene of the 2015 James Bond film, Spectre. It was lucky we got to see it given they'd cancelled it previously because of the pandemic, but we did manage to see some great costumes, hear a lot of well-known upbeat music, and then end our day walking around the Roma neighbourhood, which features heavily in the 2018 award-winning film Roma, directed by Alfonso Cuarón. After Mexico City, we travelled to Toluca to visit friends and kick the weekend off with a Halloween thing. Yes, they love Halloween in Mexico too. More traditionally, Mexicans celebrate Day of the Dead on the 1st and 2nd of November, and typically families would go to a cemetery and talk and tell stories about loved ones to remember them. Unfortunately, we didn't have the chance to do that, but we did go to this museum which had an exhibition dedicated to explaining the Day of the Dead traditions like the altars, food, sweets, and the displays of the different calaveras. In the evening, we painted our faces as Catrinas and went to see the Toluca parade. And then it was time to hit the bars and find out who can see off a beer quicker, an Englishman or a Mexican. As you can see, we had a really good time, and I was actually pretty chuffed with how my face paint turned out. However, then it all went downhill. Yes, I got food poisoning, it happens, and while I could provide a review of all these different electrolyte flavours, I think you'll be more interested in watching the videos that Jerome and our friend Josue filmed instead. On the second Day of the Dead, on the 2nd of November, they went to go and see some traditional altars that celebrate Dia de los Muertos and remember loved ones who have died.
Oh, bien! This is Adelita. It's a economic kitchen science Day of Independence. Y aquí estoy con Jerome y esas son las cosas de Kate, solo que fue al baño.
Obviously I wasn't there, I was at home in bed.
Oof. And this is patitas of pig and milanesa. Un rap mexicano, estamos en Adelita, Jerome y Kate está en el baño, ya se está recuperando. ¡Oh!
¿Nos puede explicar de qué está hecha la garipa?
Salud, canalito.
Sí, salud.
Salud, pendejo, A ver si tomas muy rápido. Oye, Jerome me está invitando. Compramos la bebida tradicional de Toluca en almas suegras, o sea, 49% de alcohol, papi. Muchas gracias.
This is my first scorpion way.
¡Oh, bien!
Well, at least they were enjoying themselves. Anyway, when I finally felt better, I managed to make it to the Cosmovitral. It's an amazing greenhouse that was intricately designed so that the colours and features of the stained glass windows reflect the sunlight at different times of day to reveal themes of the cosmos through night and day. It's actually spectacular. My first meal back was a typical Toluca torta, which just means sandwich in Mexico. And then we came across some cumbia. Another must-see is the Nevado de Toluca, a volcano with a crater at over 4,500 meters altitude that holds two lagunas, the smaller one being the moon and the larger one being the laguna of the sun.
Wow, Christian, Nevado de Toluca.
¿Qué onda?
¿Qué onda? Hey.
The city of Toluca itself sits at 2,600 meters above sea level, and trust me, when you're doing any form of exercise there, you can feel it.
¿Qué tal Valle, papis? Mamis y papis.
We went to the lake at Valle de Bravo and did the typical thing that all locals seem to do, which is hire a boat, drink booze and play loud reggaeton music. It was actually a lot of fun.
De destino está a la derecha.
Hey, le puse el lugar para nadar.
Y tra. Buenas noches, estamos aquí en San Mateo, Chotitlán. Y nos encontramos con
Beatriz Adriana.
mucho gusto, señora Beatriz. ¿Nos puede comentar qué es este arte?
Es comida mexicana típica de nuestro país.
Ok.
Tacazos de mole, de tinga, flautas de tinga, de mole.
Oiga,
Tostadas.
¿cuál es lo que le recomendaría aquí a mis amigos?
Probar toda la comida mexicana.
Y mucho dinero aquí.
Mucho dinero.
¡Eh! ¡Muchas gracias, Beatriz! ¡Nos vamos!
Finally, we couldn't miss the chance to see some monarch butterflies up close, so we borrowed a friend's car and drove to a sanctuary not too far away from Toluca. I'm not gonna lie, the hike was quite difficult given that the incline was so steep, but at this time of year, in November, you need to go all the way up as it's still only the start of the migratory season. The monarch butterflies migrate down from Canada and over 5 generations eventually arrive in Mexico, starting in November, with peak season in January, before heading back up north again in March. It's impressive.
hope you know you're driving.
After the state of Mexico, we went to Puebla, the last city to feature here. We spent 1 day and 1 night there, and honestly the food was so good I could have stayed longer. But we started by trying the Cemita Sandwich, local to Puebla. This one had chicken milanesa, Oaxaca cheese and avocado, and it was honestly delicious. We also tried a chile en nogada, which is a very typical Mexican dish of poblano chiles, stuffed with picadillo minced meat and smothered in a sweet walnut-based cream sauce called nogada. The city of Puebla itself is just so nice to look at. I mean, it has so many colourful buildings, pretty architecture, lots of nice churches, and a focus on ceramic goods as well. So it's great to go there and enjoy a few days to try all the food, see some art, and appreciate the buildings. And of course, you can't go to Puebla without trying the best mole in all of Mexico. Delicious.